This is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Oh man, this is one of these videos I don't like to make. And what it is, I want to talk politics. Oh, I hate talking politics. But I think it's something that I need to face. I am, one of the big things that I really am in favor of is draining the swamp. And I've been wondering, I know you can't just come in and start cutting people off at the knees and cutting heads off. I know that. And so I've been giving Trump the benefit of the doubt. And I think there's two ways of looking at this. That's all. There's only two ways. Either President Trump does not want to clean up Washington. And that has to be cleaned up before we can move on, before we can make the United States great again. And so if he's like any other politician, they lie. Okay, so maybe he doesn't really want to drain the swamp. Now, the other part is, maybe he really does want to drain the swamp, but you can't drain the swamp when you're right in the middle of it. You drain it someplace, but you can't do it in the middle. And what I'm talking about is, okay, I'm a businessman, but small business. He's a businessman in the big business world. In the big business world, well, in the small business world, in the business world in general, the idea is to get everyone set on the same goal. And the goal is to better the company. And to do that, you make changes. If you keep doing everything the same way, it never gets better. You have to be ready to have new changes. That's why new blood is good. And that opens the door for new people. What I'm thinking is, what came to my attention when McCain voted no. And I'm not saying it's just McCain. That's the problem. I mean, there's a whole bunch of Democrats that, went along with McCain, or McCain went along with them. So, in other words, it's making me think, well, it's close. Well, close isn't the way you really get things done. You know you're on the right track when you really get things done. And things aren't really getting done. There's so many facts of corruption in our government. And these facts aren't being investigated. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to speak in general. Probably half of the House and Senate has broken the law. And now, out of that, how much of it is treasonous? How much of it is just plain corruption? working under the table and doing all this kind of stuff. And all this stuff is easily proven. But there's no investigations on this stuff. It concerns me. And the thing is, if you're surrounded by all these criminal types, they're in the government, and you're trying to get things done, they don't get done. That's why. They don't want to be investigated, so they want to make sure everything is, the light keeps shining that direction instead of on them and the other people. So, and I'm going to give you an example here, and I mentioned this before. I was talking to somebody that retired from the Fish and Game. And he was saying when he first got into the Fish and Game, he was the game warden, when he first got into it, all the game wardens and most of the people in the Fish and Game department were sportsmen. And when he retired, few were sportsmen. The people that they put in are people that goes along with the agenda. And the agenda is to limit the ground, limit the sportsman activities, limit access to places. That's why now you find refuge areas for the wild game. The Sahara Club is a good example. People leave their property to the Sahara Club, and the Sahara Club automatically makes it no hunting, no fishing. They want control of it. They talk about even cattle. Cattle contaminate the ground, contaminate the water. See, this is an agenda that they're going to pursue. And the people in the Fish and Game are the people that are like-minded. Their idea is to limit where sportsmen can do their sportsman deeds and stop them from doing it if they can. You know, that's why the limitations and stuff like that. And for his example was how many people hit deer in the car. And the state's not responsible for it, even though the state won't allow the people to thin down the herd of deer. So they put a lot of limitations. That, I think, is the mentality going on in Washington. There's so many people in Washington that are against the United States, America, being great again. Their mentality is the New World Order. And that's, you can find that a lot. Even around here we have it. That Agenda 21. Let's talk, I was talking about the ghost cities in China. Those are an Agenda 21 type thinking. Is they're making housing for the population, not for the rich, for the population. And I think that's what's going on here in the United States. They don't have the American mentality. And I think it's bad. I think we have problems. I don't see if President Trump has done the best he could do just by bringing all this out. And he's not been able to get a lot of things done. He's been able to get things done. I say he's done a lot more for the good for the Americans than most other presidents. But I've got a thing on senators, state senators, and representatives. They all say all this good stuff, but they don't get this stuff done. The Republicans knew that they got in office to get rid of the Obamacare, and then they don't get rid of the Obamacare. So that tells you that the Republicans and the Democrats are the same. They're just doing good cop, bad cop on us. And everybody is falling for it. About the only ones that don't fall for it is people around here, us country folk. That's because we're not dependent on the government at all. And eventually, our heads will be on the block. I told you, I've been in the oil business, I've been in the restaurant business, both of which I was regulated out. They're putting more and more regulations on farms, even places like this. We got 12 acres, and they're making it like these aren't real farms, they're not really productive and stuff like that, and they are. We might not be able to feed. I know in Kansas they say they feed, you know, half of the population of the world or something. I don't know, but anyway, we may not be able to do that, but we can feed ourselves and ourselves, the people around us. That's more than what can you do in your area. How many people can you feed in your area? More than likely, you can't even feed yourself. You're dependent on going to the store and all this kind of stuff. So we have problems. I don't see how we're going to get out of it. Three-man militia is the only thing that I can see that's going to take care of individual communities, and it's not a good thing. I'm sorry this is such a negative type video, but right now I'm going through a downer on my country. They've dumbed down the population so much that I think it's the majority now, and they've convinced people that we're a democracy. So if the majority wants Obamacare, then that means the government's got to do it. But how they're going to do it? They have to take it from us, and you can't take it from the rich people. They got so much. The rich people have so much. You can't hurt them. But the middle class, you're gonna lose it. That's why we're losing our middle class, and it's going to get worse. I'm not sure what the answers are on this. And like I say, these are all symptoms of a corrupt government. And if I don't know how anybody with American values, any one individual, can make a big difference if it's not taken care of in the president's position. And so if President Trump doesn't get this done, and I don't know how he's going to do it, it's really, really tough. Even the House and Senate, they made it so then he can't take away the restrictions on Russia. That, I think, is a good idea. The problem is, why didn't they do it with presidents ahead of time? So in other words, they can do this stuff. They chose not to do it. That means all of the House, the Senate, the senators, and now it looks like the judicial system. We got federal judges now that think it's okay to have Sharia law, the Muslim law. So we got bad problems. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.